All right, so the first one we're going to look at is number 3. We are multiplying. What does that mean we do with the exponents? Add. So all you have to do is put x there, and then 2 plus 5 is 7. That is all that there is to that. And I'm going to try and pull out like at least one of each example of these. So we're going to look at number 4. Do you see how that's negative? It's a traitor. It goes to the other side. So draw a fraction bar. Let's see. That x squared goes down to the denominator. It just switches sides. Now you can't leave the numerator blank. I hope that that looks weird to you. I hope you're like, hey, wait, I can't leave it like that. What do we put up here so that it's not empty? 1. Like you have a 1 there as a placeholder. And then let's look at number 5. Do you see how that is a power to another power? All right, power to another power means you're going to multiply. So all you have to do is put x and then multiply 3 times 5 will be 15. These are basically just like memorize the rules and then follow them is really all that is. Let's look at number 10. Again, I'm trying to pull out like one of each type of thing here. You are dividing. So that means you're going to subtract. Good. So all you have to do is put a W and then subtract. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Or you could think of it like a tug of war. Who's winning? The top wins by 4. So it's another way you can think of that. Let's look at 17. I'm not sure why this printed on there. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to wipe that out, or you can scratch that out. But look at number 17. What is anything in the world to the 0th power? And think before you answer. 1. Anything in the world to the 0 power is just 1. That is all that comes out to. All right, let's look at 18. I'm going to start doing a bunch more down here. I was trying to pick like one of each type of example, and then we'll do some more of these tougher ones. What you want to do is draw a fraction bar and treat it like a tug of war, and you're going to do each part separately. So the x, then the w, then the y. So just look at the x's. Let me try and zoom this in here. Which side wins for the x's, the top or the bottom? The top. X goes there. By how much does it win? 2. Good. Now do the w. Which side wins? Bottom. The bottom. That's where w goes. By how much does it win? 2. And then do y. Which side wins? The top. The top. By how much? Do you have to write the 1? No, but you can. Okay. 2 minus 1 gives you 1. All right. So just treat it like a tug of war. Let's do 22. And again, I'm going to do some of these more complicated ones down here. We are multiplying. So 3 times 2 is 6. Just multiply them together. Now, what's the rule for the exponents? When you're multiplying, you add. So put an x, and then you just have to do 5 plus 4, which is 9. Good. So let's look at 23. You're raising all of this to the 3rd power. So the first part is -3 to the 3rd. If you don't know that, you can type it in. The calculator will do numbers. It just won't do x and y. It won't do variables. But look, just watch. If you don't know this, do you see how I typed in -3 to the 3rd? -27. Do y'all see that there? Like you can get it from your calculator. Oh, I guess I didn't hit share screen. Let me hit share screen so if anybody's just watching the video, they can see. I just typed this into Desmos. It came out to -27. All right, so that's going to be the first part of our answer. So -27. Now, what's the rule for power to a power? Multiply. Good, multiply. So for the x, you would do 2 times 3. So 6. And then for the y, you would do 4 times 3, which is 12. Hanging in there? I know I told you this was going to be the not fun part. We'll play a game after this, but I have to go through the study guide and hand you a test. So we got to go through it. All right, here, I would draw a fraction bar, and we're just going to decide what goes where. Kind of like you're drawing that line in the sand, and it's like who's going to be on which side. All right, we are dividing. -10 divided by 2 would be -5. Good. You can write -5/1 if that pleases you, if you want to put the 1 in there. All right, now look at the x's. Oh my gosh, these ones are negative. What does that mean? They're going to switch. Okay, it's like this. Do you see how there's only one x down here? You have one person on this team. Put that away. You have 3 people on this team. Is it away? Okay. You have one person on this team, 3 people on this team, but these 3 are coming over here. So now you have 4. Are you guys following me there? 3 plus 1 is 4. So they will, and will they go on the top or the bottom? Bottom. It'll be x to the 4th down here. These 3 come down to the bottom and join that one. Now the y's, they're all positive, so no one's going to switch sides. I would just view that like a tug of war. Which side wins? Bottom by how much? 1, but you don't have to write it. I'm going to move that -5 over because it looks funny just being off to the side there. I mean, it means the same thing, but it's going to make it look a little bit prettier. And we'll do all the rest of these. I'm going to do these more complicated ones with you because they're harder problems. All right, do you see how we have all this stuff in the parentheses for number 25 and then it's squared? Yeah. All right, we're going to simplify what's inside of there and then we'll square everything. So kind of just leave it like this, like set it up blank. And we'll kind of reduce it and then we'll square everything. So 3/9. What would 3/9 reduce to? 1/3. 1/3, good. For the x's, think of it like a tug of war. Which side wins? Bottom wins by 1. So you can put a 1 if you want to, but you don't have to. All right, look at the y's. Do you see how these ones are negative? Okay, and then there's 2 over here. It is like this. Are you following me? I'm gonna hand you tests. You have 2 people on this team, you have 3 people on this team, but these 3 are coming over here. 5. Where do they go? The top or the bottom? Which one? Bottom. I just didn't hear. Okay, good. Y to the 5th goes down there. Now we're going to square everything because of the squared that's there. So 1 squared, 1 times 1 is just 1. Don't overthink that. All right, down here, 3 squared is good. Thank you. 9. You are awake. I love it. I just want you guys to destroy this cut, right? And then x squared would just be, yeah, x to the 2nd. That's just all that is. And then for this one, for the y, what's the rule for a power to a power? Yeah. No, power to a power means you multiply. So you would do 5 times 2, which is 10. Hanging in there? We're almost done with the first page, guys. Go us. All right, look at just this first part. Do you see how it's all of this being squared? You can do it. I believe in you. Do you see how it's all of this being squared? Okay, 4 squared is 16. Just going to cover this up. 4 squared is 16. Power to a power means you multiply. So it'll be x to the 6. 3 times 2 is 6. And then it'll just be y to the 2nd. All right, that's the first part. Oops. Now we're going to do this part. 2 to the 3rd. If you didn't know that, you could type it in the calculator, but you guys kind of seem to know it when I was writing them up here. 2 cubed. 8. Good. And then x to the 6. Good. 2 times 3 is 6. Perfect. Good. You guys got it. Power to a power means you multiply. You guys are impressing me. I was worried that like no one would remember any of this, but it's coming back to you. All right, now we're going to multiply these together. 16 times 8. I don't happen to know my 16 tables off the top of my head. A lot of you have like a calculator in your head in this class, but
120.
good. 128. Just did that in your head. All right. 16 times 8, 128. When you multiply, what is your exponent rule? You're going to add. Good. Thank you. Add. So you will have x to the what? You're going to add these together. 12. Perfect. And then it'll just be y to the 2nd. There's not another y to combine that with, so it'll just be y to the 2nd. Cool. Do you see this x to the nothing?
Yeah.
That would just be 1. And so you can ignore it. Honestly, if you want to just scribble it out and pretend it's not there, it would just be 1 and you can just ignore that. Okay. So on the top, we have 3y squared. On the bottom, you have to cube that stuff. It's being cubed. So 2 cubed. 8. And when you do a power to a power, you multiply. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now, does 3/8 reduce? Like, is that a fraction you can read? No. So the 3/8 is actually just going to stay. Like, we can't do anything with that. But the Y's are playing a tug of war. Which side wins? By how much, George? Good. Just making sure you're awake back there. Very smart, just unfit. I'm tired too. We're gonna get through it together. All right, we'll do this one more. All right, we're gonna take all this stuff to the second. -3 to the second. Hey guys, what that means is -3 times -3, which will be 9, +9. The negatives are gonna cancel. Power to a power means you multiply. So x to the 8th. Now look, this would be y to the, you're multiplying.
Oh, to the second, so just.
It would be -4. Now I just kind of wrote that off to the side. What does that mean since that would be negative? It's going to go where? It'll go to the bottom. So this will be over y to the 4th. Again, the negatives switch sides. All right, go ahead and flip to the next page. We'll do one more page and then I'll do a break. I just want to at least get halfway through it. So now this is the other part of this unit. So part of it was all your exponent rules, and then the other part are your roots, okay? You guys did really well with this. And again, I'm just going to pick and choose a few of these. Let's look at number 4. We're going to draw 2 little houses for 50. You need 2 numbers that multiply together to equal 50. One of them's got to be off the squares list.
25 and 2.
It would be 25 times 2. Do you remember the trick in Desmos to get it to make a table?
50 over x.
Put 50 over x.
Just the gear in the table.
Gear time. Eat this test for breakfast. All right. Now for the variables, is it an even number? Is 4 an even number? Yes. Leave it alone. Just leave it x4. We're not doing anything to it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Is 8 an even number? Yes. Leave it alone. Now we're going to check them off the list. What's your square root of 25? Is 5. And then these ones you're dividing by 2. That's why we looked for even numbers. So it would be x to the 2nd. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then y to the 4th. What do you do with the leftovers?
You make a little house at the end.
Yeah, make a little house at the end. Just leave it under there. All right, let's try number 6. 425 is a bigger number. Let me share my screen and I'm gonna type this in. 425 divide by x, make the table. Now don't hit enter so much that you get this huge table with a lot of numbers to look through. I'm gonna hit enter kind of slowly, one at a time. Can you guys let me know when you find it? I feel like we might need to go a ways for this one though. Because I think it might be 25. These are all dust. Oh, there we go. 25 and 17. Do you see that there? 25 and 17. All right, so draw 2 little houses. We'll have 25 and 17. All right, there's an X, a Y, and a Z. No worries, just do them separately. Is 2 an even number?
Yes.
Leave it X2. 7 is not an even number, so split it. How? Good. Yeah, nice job, guys. Oh, gosh. You guys were like ready for this test today. And then 9 is not an even number, so again, split that. I almost ran out of room here.
Z to the 8.
Z to the 8, and then a leftover Z. I'm sorry, I kind of ran into the edge of the paper then. All right, now we're going to check them off. Look. You're going to do all the ones that work, and then all the ones that don't work, you're just going to skip them. What's your square root of 25? 5. And then here, you're looking for even numbers because you're dividing by 2. So what will this one reduce to? Yeah, just x. You can write x to the 1 if you want, but it'll just be x. All right, and again, we're looking for even numbers because you want to divide by 2. This one will be y to the 3rd. And then this one will be z to the fourth. And then whatever's left over, build a little house at the end and just stick all that in there. What's left over in this one? 17y z. All right, and then let's just do a couple of the cubed ones. Let's look like in that bottom row here. Let's do 13 and 14. Again, I'm just trying to pick a couple of each of them. So draw two little houses, and I will type 54 in the calculator so you guys can see it. Well, you have to look at the cubes list. If it was a square root, you would be correct there, but you have to look at the cubes. So hold on, what was it, 54? 54 divided by x, make the table. Oh, there it is. 27 and 2. You are, but you need to write it down. Okay. So 27 and 2. You just have to look at the other list. That's all. It's the same kind of problem. You just have to look at the other list. All right. And then what is your cube root of 27? 3. So 3 cube root of 2. And we'll just try one more of those. Let's just do 14. Again, I'll share my screen and show it to you. What was this one? 250?
Yeah.
Good. It'll be 125 and 2. Do you guys see that there? 125 and 2. Hold on one second, guys. Can I answer a question?
Oh, yeah.
I heard you discussing it amongst yourselves. Can I jump in there? Yeah, the roots is what's going to be on the quiz that we do. But we're going to do another review game after this, so don't worry. What's that? Yeah, the squares and the cubes. All right, and then, hey guys, what is your cube root of 125? It's 5, and then you have this cube root of 2 left over. All right, so go ahead and flip to the third page. And again, I'm just going to pick out a few of these to do. 1, 2, and 3 right here are like you're having the answer and you're being asked what the question was, so you kind of have to go backwards. So the part that's under, like you're still going to draw two houses here. The part that's under the square root, like do you see how this 8x is under the square root? That's just going to stay. Like that just is what it is. So like, draw two little houses and that 8x is going to stay. The other part, instead of square rooting, you're just going to square. How about you just sit right here for a second if your desk got all wet?
No, it's fine.
It's fine?
I'll try.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to square this part. All right, so hey guys, right here, we're going to square this. We're going backwards. Instead of square rooting, you're going to square. So hey guys, what is 3 squared? 9, good. So 9 goes in that one. X to the 4th squared. When you do a power to a power, you're going to multiply. We're making the numbers bigger. So 4 times 2 would be 8. Again, we're going backwards. It's like you have the answer and you're looking for the question. So we just squared this. 3 squared is 9. And then we did 4 times 2 is 8. Are we all together?
Is this new?
Like so forth? No, we did one like this. It's just been a long time. That's why we're doing a review. And then you're going to multiply those together, and that'll be what goes on the line. So 9 times 8, good, is 72. And when you multiply these, you add the exponents. I'm going to put the 1 in here. It'll be 8 plus 1 is 9. So what it's saying is, if you were to do this problem, you would get this as the answer. Here, let's do another one. Go back to number 1. Draw 2 little houses. And the 2 is just going to stay. And then instead of square rooting, you're squaring. So what is 10 squared?
100.
100. And then you would just multiply those together. It would be 200. We did that. It's just been a while. All right, now out of this next section, I'm going to do 7, 8, and 9. I'm skipping some of the easier ones and I'm trying to do the harder ones for you. Okay, because I'm going to fill all this out and post it to Schoology. So like all the answers are going to be on there. All right, so look at number 7. Do you see how 16, 4, and 108 are all different? Okay, You can't add and subtract them until they're all the same. We're gonna do them one at a time. You're gonna have to write kind of small for this to make it fit because your answer is gonna be a little bit big. So for cube root of 16, draw two little houses. And you need two numbers that multiply to be 16, but one of them's gotta come from the cubes list.
8, 2.
8 times 2, beautiful. And this is where I told you to erase so I can save you some writing, unless you want to write it all over again. Which one of those works? What is your cube root of 8? 2. So erase that and just put a 2. Again, otherwise you'd have to recopy the entire line, and I'm just trying to save you from having to do that. Now this one, 4 is not a large enough number to do anything with. So what do we do if we can't do anything? Just leave it. Just like literally recopy that exactly as it, like literally just rewrite it. And then draw two houses for the last one, and I'm going to type 108 into the calculator for us. Unless some of you can do it in your head, which I know a lot of you can't. Well, we're looking at the cubes list. So it won't be 4. All right, I'm going to hit enter and generate the list. We're looking for something on the cubes list.
It's gonna be 27.
27 times 4, beautiful. So we're going to have 27 and 4. And then again, you want to just erase so you don't have to copy the whole thing all over again. What is your cube root of 27? Is 3. Good. So erase that and just put a 3. Now they didn't all turn out the same, but at least 2 of them are. Which are the 2 that turned out the same that we could combine together?
2 to the 4 cube and 3 to the 2 last.
Yeah, the 2 last ones. Yeah, I know that's hard to say, right? So this one doesn't combine. I'm going to just leave that alone. But these 2 we can put together because they're the same. So -2 plus 3. -2 plus 3 would be 1 cube root of 4. And you don't need that one. I just wrote it to be clear that there's one of them. 8 is the exact same thing, but with square roots. Do you see how they're all different? You need to make them the same before you can add and subtract them together, okay? So put a 2 and then just draw 2 little houses. I'm going to separate that then. So you need numbers that multiply together to be 48. And you're looking at the squares list. Well, I heard somebody whisper back there. What was that? 16 times 3. Good. Oh, I typed it in. I just forgot to hit share. So for people that are just watching the video, it's right here. 16 times 3. I heard you say it. I can hear you back there. All right. So 16 times 3. Now just turn your pencil over. We're going to erase. Good. Your square root of 16 is 4. Look at square root of 16 is 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Good. So erase this and just put 8. And again, my purpose in that is to try and save you some writing. So you don't have to copy it all over again. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Minus. All right. Draw 2 little houses for the 75. I'm hoping we can do that one without me having to type it in. What will that split into? I will if we need to, but look through your squares. It'll be 25 times 3. And then what is your square root of 25? It's 5. So just erase it and put 5. Minus, all right, draw 2 little houses. Now you're like, we hate you. What will multiply together to equal 12? 4 times 3. Very good. And then what is your square root of 4? Is 2. So just erase that and put a 2. Now those all came out the same. Do you see how they're all square root of 3? So just add and subtract them together. 8 minus 5 would be 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 square root of 3. And you don't have to put the 1 I just did to be like extra thorough. All right, perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter means you add up all the sides Two of those go together and the other one doesn't. Which two go together? Yeah, do you see how that one's a cube and these ones aren't? All right, these two are going to go together, and I would put a 1 in front of that one. You have 1AB plus 4AB. That would give you 5AB. 5 abs, square root of ab. And then plus the last one that didn't combine, so just leave it alone. All right, and then this is multiplying. I'm just gonna pick a couple of these. Let's do number 4. Let's do 4. You're gonna multiply the parts outside and multiply the parts inside. So just do the outside. -7 times 2. Be -14. Beautiful. And then the insides, 15 times 10 is 150. Are we okay to there?
Okay.
Multiply outsides, multiply inside. So we're going to draw 2 little houses, -14, and then draw 2 little houses, and I will type 150, and it is going to be 25. Oh my gosh, you guys are just like, oh, whoops, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. You guys are saying it so quickly, I'm like messing up typing it in. There we go. All right, hold on. Let me find it for everybody else. There we go. 25 times 6. Good. All right, so it'll be 25 times 6. And then good, this part will be 5. So if you want to just erase that and put a 5. And then what would be the last thing you'd have to do there?
Multiply the 5.
Yeah, so -14 times 5. Let me type -14 times 5. -70. I just went and typed it in. So -7, you were close. Times square root of 6. And then let's do one that has cubes in it. Let's do number 6. So you would multiply the outsides, multiply the insides. The outsides, it would be 4 times, now this would really be a -1. So 4 times -1, good, would just be -4. And then we're going to multiply the insides, which would be 2 times 4, which would be 8. Now that doesn't split. It's just going to work. What is your cube root of 8? Is like that answer just is 2. And then multiply, you get -8. Your cube root of 8 just is 2. It doesn't need to split, like 8 is on the list. So that one, like, do you remember the one we were looking at a couple minutes ago? It was cube root of 125 and like it just is 5. Like that one just is 2. Now on the back is a bunch of multiple choice. Let me see if there's any here that I really want to look. And I'm not going to do the throwback questions. I am going to fill all this out and it'll all be up there. Let's just look at 3 real quick. We're going to circle all of the ones that are in simplest form. So you can have more than one answer. The way you tell is you look at what's underneath the square root. We don't really care about what's outside, just what's underneath. If you could split it, then it's not in simplest form. If you can't do anything to it, then it's done. So look, could we do anything with this? Like, could we go further with the problem?
Yeah.
You could, because 2 is an even number, right? And you could divide by 2 and you could keep going. So it's not in simplest form. You could do more there. How about this one? Could you do more?
No.
Well, I know it's not even, but you could split it into 2 and 1. Do you get what I'm saying there? Okay, so it's not in simplest form. You could do more work there. How about this one? Would 7 split?
No.
No, because 7's prime, nothing's going to go into that. And then you just have an X and a Y, so those can't split either. So this one's in simplest form. And again, you're only looking at what's underneath. Now 3 won't split because that's too small of a number. But what do you think about this? Like, could you do more there?
Yeah.
Like you could go further in the problem, so it's not simplified. And then how about this one? Would 6 split into what? But 3 and 2 aren't up there.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so you can't do anything else to that. It's in simplest form.